Hello, Tim. This is what we were going to talk about and what I was going to present, and we missed on Friday, but here we go. This is how we presented the content domain in Kashitsa. We're going to do something similar again when we get to TNEC. So this is what the content domain is all about and what we're trying to communicate today. And all of the elements that we're going to show is a toolkit for how you think about potential clients in this domain, what we have to say, what's our value proposition, and our observations around the market, summary of the work we've done in this area, some additional reading on what's going on out there in the competitive landscape, particular to content. It's quite a lot to be covered in these 8 threads, and very, very different to any way we've done it before, but hopefully you'll get something out of it. This year, NES has decided to go to market with this domain focus. Primarily, we worked out when thinking about what's special about us, we build intelligent platforms, and we do this in 2 spheres. One is about how people interact with machines on the left there, and some about how people interact with each other on the right. Content, as you'll see, is part of this thread of how people interact with each other, and that's the one we're going to focus on now. Underpinning all of that, we're just trying to tease out some more, is this concept of identity, even more so in the scrutiny on Facebook at the moment. My digital identities and what I'm allowed to see, subscribe for, shareable, it's all something we're going to build on in the next few months with that focus. But let's look at content. Point of view, important that we just spend a little bit of time on why we picked out content, aside from the fact that we have quite a lot of clients in this space. We can't really think of many companies that don't touch content somehow in the talking about themselves or acquiring it, manage it, distribute it. Content is core to many offerings, so it's very broad, and that's why we stuck with this one word to describe it all, content, because any other word to describe it tends to focus it too broadly, and we're actually being very generous in our view of what constitutes content. In our second point there, technologies to deliver it or manage it, or they're a combination these days of things blended, off the shelf solutions, or something between what the company's trying to do and then looking for a partner to help them with areas that they don't know, and that's where our opportunity lies. Our solutioning in technology, of course, is some of the elements of content we all know, the technology elements, the CMS type, the enterprise content management, the play out of video over the top, rights management, all of that, which is technology focused. But we're trying to create commercial value for clients, and that's all about the layer, the expertise that we bring to create a layer of experience and data collection on top of those technologies. And I think this is pretty pokey at the end here. Our go-to-market proposition is about understanding companies and the way they go about the whole content lifecycle, from creating it, and that can come in all kinds of flavors, to publishing it, distributing it, getting in front of people, trying to turn that into a commercial value, which is monetization, and using data to improve it. Content touches all companies and many flavors. We wanted to spend a bit of time thinking through who we were trying to get to. So as well as our traditional VP of engineering and CIO, captured there in the who are our targets in the technology piece, there's no reason why we can't take this story to a chief data officer looking about monetizing company data, underutilized asset. But in the business sense, as well as the CMO that we'd like to get at, this chief digital officer, the chief operating officer about the workflows of the everyday business, and then anyone connected to monetizing their products or protecting their rights, monetizing content. So quite a broad remit. What can we do? Well, as we know from our core proposition, we can build unique solutions and integrate with all kinds of off-the-shelf solutions, some of which we're working on already, like Alfresco, for instance, or the Perform, video distribution. We're all about improving workflows and refreshing customer experience, of course. So taking something that exists already and working together to make it better. And the all-important, studying the usage data, report analytics to work out how you can improve the value you get from it by, increasing personalization or identifying areas, patterns from upsell, cross-sell opportunities, and comparing it to the market to better package some of the solutions. So fairly familiar what we offer. Why they might choose us in this space? Well, as you'll see in a moment, we do have a lot of experience, a lot of impressive credentials and examples. We do have IP, this solution for video that we've inherited from Perform. We have some accelerators too. We are the core R&D partner for Alfresco, right? A leading enterprise content management process management provider. They're expanding massively at the moment, recently acquired by an investment company and looking to integrate their platform with the likes of SAP and Salesforce and Alexa and Microsoft Azure. So all kinds going on in that space, which is fundamentally about content and making it work harder inside the enterprise. And as always, whilst we're focusing on this domain, one of the added extras about us is that we work across many domains, industries and geographies to bring it wider experience. So this is the kind of offering that we have to our customers. These are the kind examples of business problems we help our clients solve. We're looking there, we picked out 4 areas of content on the left. Obviously there are more, but in this instance, just what we picked out here. These are the kind of problems that we see customers pondering and where we come in to help with potential solutions from our back catalogue of experience. It's quite a rich offering and definitely worth studying and thinking through which of these might you put into a particular meeting that you're preparing for. Whether you might show some of these or have a particular focus on content, but this is how we engage, and it definitely is a halfway between what we have to offer and our capabilities and what the customer we imagine is struggling with. So we're trying to work on their use cases that they're battling against and show that we can help them. A minute just to spend on, we now have a video distribution platform from one of our customers. As long as we don't use it in sport, we're going to spend some time, I should say, working out over the next month what our focus area is and who might like to engage with a company like us to accelerate their distribution. If they have a video challenge to get it out, either to monetize it or just to distribute it quickly or track it or do it cheaply at scale so it doesn't cost so much, we can offer all kinds of help in these kind of 6 phases here. We could do it as an all-in-one package, which might be quite a crowded market, and my research I'm going to work on next few weeks will tell us that. But also we might be able to help in particular single instances of this. So maybe rights management is something that we can offer as an accelerator. This is just a slightly more detailed view of what those components that we have are. Video CMS and searchability, feeds that turn into, from APIs that allow us to consume and distribute syndication, and on it goes. Pretty extensive and deep knowledge that we have around video distribution, which could, not just be video content and rights. Actually, relatively similar in its essence to this Nest Content Office, which I do need to explore a little bit more on, but we have that download data sheet, and it is a concept that we've worked on before about monetizing digital assets. So a little bit more to flesh out on that one. Same here. I'm not sure if you know too much about this, Tim, but the work that was done on this in the US last year does actually cover what we were doing with Warner and ended up doing with the Universal Music Group. So I'm not sure how mature this is. It's all in a nascent stage, but the concept is turning what we've done really into a more widely available platform, but we need to be a bit more focused on who we might find to pay for it, because it's not clear to me yet, and I'm trying to find people in the next couple of weeks who might have some insights having worked on it. So they were the IP. Now we're going into the market just to have a little bit, and this is typical of what we're going to do across the main stories. Pick an area, a bite-sized kind of commentary on a topic, and just give the guys an awareness of the sorts of solutions and services we have against those so that they become talking points. Just pick out, content customization on the left there. Big challenge that companies have, ensuring it's the right content delivered to the right users at the right time, concept of personalization really. We have the data smarts to help analyze content consumption, clickstream analysis, event logs to all kinds of audiences to then improve over time how it gets customized and delivered to users based on their history. We have the art.com story, which turned into our extreme personalization and segmentation accelerator, which you can see on the Nest Connected Lab in this instant. But it speaks strongly to our story of understanding through experience design, the kind of data that we're trying to capture. Similar stories I could flesh out, but I'm not going to on the other two. And then there's three more content, more concepts, more services, more thumbnails of topics that anyone could read up on if you're imagining going to meet someone and thinking, I think they're probably interested in this area. So you can beef up your knowledge about what's going on with some of these trends that we're putting out there as an appetite whetter for the guys to kind of think about before they go and meet people. Little 5 pieces of content that's already written. Anyone thinks, oh, are we putting stuff out in this area? Go have a read. See if they might be worth sending ahead of you to your meeting to show that we're working in this area already. Just to, show awareness that Ness is focused on this area. And of course, the ambition of these kind of domain stories is they get enriched week by week, or as we capture feedback from some of the meetings, how they went. And of course, as we put more reading material together, we'll update some of this. Just wanted to show you a little bit about where the case studies are at the moment. I had this ambition of taking what we did for Project Planet and putting it into some striking concept of how you might present it with, say, 2 key business points here to build a story out. And this is something you put up on screen and show the art.com story kind of put across in a different way. But for every time we have the one you put on screen, I'm going to build a little one which is a much more detailed one, like the written ones we showed at Project Planet, which is what we hope you might include in a proposal or send in a written kind of deck that you might send out as a PDF or something like that. Building every which way we can on business value and value delivered, and where we can ever find those stories that show we did, deliver something valuable that a customer benefited from, and try to keep as often as possible out of a number of people working on our team to do it, because that's not really value to the customer, because that's the way we want to talk. So that's an art.com example. By the 1st of May, I'll have worked through the kind of 20 others that are our main case studies, and we can go further once the meeting's through and everyone's on board with it. Similar story with the Warner Music one, which you know so well, split into 3 bullets there in a much more detailed version there, and then yet to do just the short versions. I haven't got the long versions. Perform is a content case study. Still working on the longer version. That's where I got the core story from. Alfresco story in its main bullets, and of course I've got a video film now about Test Automation Suite, which Alfresco are really excited about. I'm going to show that in TNEC, working on the longer version. And these are all things yet to come. So the TiVo story I have as a video as well, and is a precursor for the web crawler. So there's a lot to be said about the TiVo story, and I'll flesh that one out as a case study. We can't ignore the fact that we have TMB as a publisher, a publishing story. We've got the Universal Music Group story to flesh out. These are all work in progress. So once you look at the credentials we have in this space, it starts to become fairly rich, that we have a lot to offer. And actually, of all of our domains, this is the one where we have the most customers. I go on to just talk a little bit about how in each domain we have different competitors, and we want everyone to understand that it's not just our traditional folk, although EPAM obviously represent it here. But it might be Deloitte as a consultancy in this field, or even Oliver Wyman as a consultancy, calling their communications, media, and technology piece. So they've got a lot to say about content. I might have to change the title there, but I hope you get the point we're making, which is, as a buyer from a content domain, they may not necessarily know their Nesses from their EPAMs, from their Global Logics. They might be just coming from a different space, or have indeed be the first time they're looking for a partner. So we need to find the language to meet them halfway, understand the domain, and understand the words and the nomenclature, the terminology, and that's part of the learning and teaching ourselves ahead of preparing to meet some of these people. I think that'll do for now. That's kind of the gist and the format of all of the domains. I'm still working on the customer one and the regulatory reporting one, and then I'll go back to finish these and flesh these out in the next 3 weeks. So any feedback you have, this is what I'd like to talk to you about on, say, Tuesday, whenever we can talk. So looking forward to doing that. Thanks for listening. Catch you soon. Bye.